Hello, and welcome back to the Basement Podcast. I am the million dollar med. I am the million dollar man, Ted
Oh, you couldn't
DiBiase.
get through it. Not a clean open. Start
I
again.
am the million dollar man, Ted DiBiase, and that is Erwin R. Shyster, the other half of Money Inc. And we are broadcasting this week from the Institute for Actor Identity Research. And this comes up because last week, ONT Field in Ontario, the home of the Tower Buzzer, single A affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers, had Christopher McDonald out last Friday night. You might know him as Shooter McGavin.
Best
And they
known for Shooter McGavin.
they also had Chauncey Leopardi. You may know him as Squints Palladorus from The Sandlot on Saturday. And it got me thinking. These two are actors who are pretty much known for those two roles. I want to think about actors who are really synonymous with their single, like a single role.
A single role that they have played, that they have
Now,
donned.
there are some criteria that I want to like negate a couple of people, right? So like Chauncey Leopardi doesn't count. Child actors don't
Child
count
actors not on the list.
because a lot of
Can do.
child actors are
Yeah.
child actors only, and they never get to do
Blossom
other things.
into it never becomes a full-time career.
Now,
Just like we've never seen Benny the Jet Rodriguez in anything else.
right.
But
Some other
okay, can I ask a question before you launch into your question? Because that's what the show is me interrupting you all the time. Is there been any child actor? But there's been plenty. I mean, like the Drew Barrymores and everything like that. But I'm thinking of like those sports movies, like a Sandlot, like the Mighty Ducks, where the child actor has parlayed it into a long-term acting career.
Dustin, Anita, get on it. Let's do some
No,
research.
I got one off the top of my head.
Go for
and
it.
I dropped Mighty Ducks. Is Joshua Jackson had a long acting career? Yeah,
Yeah, he did. He was in some network television show, right?
he was in stuff. He
Yeah.
was in stuff. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah,
Now,
yes.
now to your question. So it is possible for the sports movie child actor, which I don't even know if those movies exist. They were our childhood,
Yeah.
like 90s, early 2000s, whatever it would be, that they were able to kind of make that a long-term gig. Not a lot of them made it, but it was possible. Joshua Jackson being one.
There are some people who I wouldn't include on this list. And we just said child actors. The other kind of grouping of people that I wouldn't include on this list are like Mark Hamill and Elijah Wood. If you were part of like a television series or a hit film series that was like the biggest thing ever, right?
Okay.
So Ted Danson doesn't count. Anybody from Seinfeld doesn't count. Friends doesn't count. Like if you were part of a mega hit,
Yeah.
you do not fit into this because that it just automatically disqualifies you. I know that there are a number of people who like think of Mark Hamill as like the voice of the Joker in the animated.
No, there's nobody who thinks of Mark Hamill like that.
He was good in that. But
He was
doesn't-
great in that, but nobody thinks of Mark Hamill. Oh, the Joker guy. Nobody says that
No.
about Mark Hamill.
That would be funny. Hey, Mark Hamill loved you in the Joker. Didn't know you from anything else. The other people who do, like you have obviously we're talking about people who were actors.
Yeah.
And then they went on, they're known for a role, but they went on to do other things. And they weren't really typecast. So that's the other one caveat that I'm gonna put out there is like you can't be typecast. So like the one that comes to mind for me is like Rowan Atkinson. Like even though he was in other stuff, he was Mr. Bean in every single role
every single movie he's been in. Yeah.
Even if his name
The only
wasn't
thing I can
Mr.
think
Bean,
of,
he
the only
was Mr.
other
Bean.
movie I can think of him in is like Johnny English, which I'm not even sure I saw that, but it's just him as a talking Mr. Bean was my understanding of that movie.
Right. So, and the other, when I say like you have to be in enough stuff to qualify for this, Hayden Christensen doesn't count. Like again, he kind of fits in Star Wars, and so it's like you're just Star Wars. But like even if he wasn't in Star Wars and he was just known for one role, it's like you weren't in enough stuff to make this list. And I really, I'm gonna list off some names. I'm gonna say here at the outset, like Christopher McDonald actually is maybe the top of the list.
Quintessential
Like
Shooter McGavin.
he's been in stuff.
Yeah, yes.
He's in
And
an
he's a good
episode.
actor. I like him.
He's been in an episode of our either favorite or second favorite show, Psych. And
Yeah,
but everyone knows him. When you see his face, it's Shooter McGavin. I'm
yeah.
gonna list off some names though, and I'm gonna see if
Hit me.
you Matthew Broderick.
No.
And obviously I'm going
You
Ferris
only think
Bueller.
of him as Ferris Bueller.
Now he was in War Games. He was in a
War
number of
Games
other
was the
things.
first thing that came to my mind. Is like, no, War Games.
Okay.
He was in some other stuff too, where I'm just like, no. I think he's had a longer, broader career. How would I say that? Even though, yes, his role is Ferris Bueller, I think of him in other things as well.
Well, you could also go with Alan Ruck from again from
He
Ferris
would be a better,
Bueller.
yes, no, he would be a better fit for, yeah, that role.
I don't know. I thought about
You're
including
Cameron,
Alan Ruck in
man.
this, but he's just been in so many things that I'm
He has
going
been in a
like
lot of
he's
things.
just kind of Alan Ruck now. Like I just kind of that's Alan Ruck. Okay, cool. So I didn't include him on this list.
Okay.
Richard Schiff.
Yeah, you're Toby.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. He's been in other stuff, but
Yeah,
every
dude,
time
you're
I see him,
Toby.
I'm going, oh no, you're
Yeah,
just
no, that's
Toby.
Toby.
Well,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
and
I
we
think that's the test is like when you see them in other things, you just go, oh, that's so and so from the character name, not even the actor name.
yeah,
It's like,
that's
oh, that's the character name from the other thing.
if you're
So
listening
it's
to
like, yeah, when you
this,
see Richard Schiff, it's like, oh, that's Toby.
if you're listening to this and you don't know who Richard Schiff is by his real name, Toby from The West Wing is who we're talking about.
Yeah.
The West Wing is probably it's like again one or two in terms of our top favorite shows.
I would put, yes, I think
And
you nailed it. You've
I
already dropped Psych and The West Wing, and those are 1, 2 in the
I think
order
the
for sure.
reason, and I've never met Richard Schiff, neither has Andy that I know of. But we kind of
We went
imagine,
fishing last Saturday, but yeah, whatever. Okay.
we kind of imagine the thing that we love about The West Wing so much is it was written in such a way that we feel like it epitomized each of the characters. Like each character was just themselves all the time and they were put
Yeah.
in the best situation to be themselves. Richard, like
Yeah.
I imagine Richard Schiff just to be that kind of curmudgeon guy who
Oh, of
mumbles a
course.
lot.
Of
And
course.
maybe I'll ask him
Yeah.
whenever I meet him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
We're
throw
getting him on the show, by the way.
I've
But
got
yeah.
two more. I've got two more
Can you
names.
even name anything else Richard Schiff has been in? There's only one other movie I can think of.
Superman.
Superman.
Yeah.
Man of Steel.
Man of
Yes.
Steel.
Yeah. Great. Best soundtrack, I think, of any. I will still stick by that as it is my favorite soundtrack of all time. Hans Zimmer, incredible soundtrack.
Interstellar.
Interstellar's up there. It's very, very good. I actually think Man of Steel is a little bit better than Interstellar.
All right, I got
I
two
know
more
Interstellar's
names.
a little more iconic, and I didn't say like the greatest of all time. I said my personal favorite because I think if we're going like greatest of all time, this is a different opener for a different show. But
Philip Airtime,
we're-
jot it down. Jot it down. We
yeah,
have
yeah,
an
yeah.
opener for next week.
Phil Fairtime, get on this. I mean, like you're gonna throw in like Braveheart. Braveheart is an incredible film score. The same with like Lord of the Rings. Like Howard Shore, what he did with all of those was you're putting that in the top two.
Who was that guy who was teaching that class and he asked us all of our favorite films and you were just like, I don't even remember what you said, maybe Hero, and he just
Hero
kind of
at the time,
responded
Hero was one of my favorites. Yeah.
and he just responded great film score and you looked at me, he's like, he could have said that about anything.
Any movie, yeah, absolutely. Which, if you want to continue that story, one of our favorite memories out of that was another kid in the class goes Knight's Tale,
Yeah.
and I immediately start laughing and go, "Oh, come on, that's just ridiculous." But then, like, you're like, "Okay, sure." It's like it's got beautiful people, great acting, it's hilarious, it's got action, it's got great music. It's
You know what?
oh, Knight's Tale might be my favorite movie.
It's a great movie. It's a really, really great movie. It might be the greatest. Another
Yeah.
great memory from that time. That's a Tim Tebow, great football player, greatest
Or
football
Greatest
player.
football player.
All right, I've got two more names on my list.
Yeah, go for it.
This one
Shooter.
might be surprising. Tim Robbins.
You're going Andy Dufresne?
Of course.
No. Tim Robbins has been too much other stuff
Okay.
that
That might be a personal bias thing. We're just listing off our favorites. Shawshank is like my favorite movie. And
yeah,
so when
Shawshank
I
is
think of
great.
Tim Robbins, I think of Andy Dufresne. But that might just
Do
be
you
a
do the
bias.
same for Morgan Freeman?
No, 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 not the same. But that's no. Morgan
To
Freeman
be honest, when I
transcends.
went, of course, Morgan has had a incredible career, varied roles. But when I think of Morgan Freeman, the first one that comes up is Red.
I think of God,
I think
but
of God as well. When I think of Morgan Freeman, I think of God.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I. That's not. Yeah. All right, last one. Also, again, another bias thing, and Emilio Estevez.
Hmm. This
Now,
one's your own personal one,
right.
just because you love Mighty Ducks so much.
Quack, 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 quack.
I'm gonna give it to you. Like that's fine that
I don't
you
know if
like. Of
he's.
course, you think of.
I don't know if he's well known enough. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
if he
Emilio hasn't been in a ton of
registers.
like. He has been in a lot of stuff. Didn't hold the same cultural currency as his brother Charlie,
Right.
but
Or his father,
um,
Martin.
or his father, President Bartlett.
Right. Right.
How many West Wing references can we drop in this show?
But it's not.
We're on two right now.
we might we might just like do a episode in the future where we don't even say anything about it, but we're just gonna constantly
We
reference.
just oh yeah. The entire episode is just cobbled together West Wing lines
Yeah.
from different episodes.
Yeah.
We can
That's
pull
all.
that off.
This show is only for us. I don't know if if for any of you
Absolutely.
listening, this is not for you. This is for
No.
us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, your list. Your list.
Well, with the criteria of like it can't be like a mega hit because I did have some names on my list, but then you completely destroyed my list because I was thinking Rainn Wilson,
Ah,
but
yeah.
you're saying
That
because of the mega hit status of The Office, that one doesn't count because
I did.
Rainn will never get another job where we don't look at him and go, Dwight Schrute.
He was in Sahara, which I think I'm
Yes,
the
he
only. I
was.
think I'm the only one who likes that movie. I think I'm the only
You're
person.
not the only one, but we might be the only two.
No, I'm sure Joey likes it. I'm sure if
Of course
Joey
he
saw it,
does.
he'd like it. And it,
Yes, in fact, I might have seen it with Joey, actually. Yes.
I like Matthew McConaughey, but I watched that movie for Steve Zahn. I'm a big Steve Zahn fan.
What? Okay, I was just gonna go there. Steve Zahn was supposed to be the next dude, like
Yeah,
the
Steve
next
Zahn.
real funny guy.
Yeah, he was great.
And it just never materialized. What happened to him?
He's around. He was in Silo, that Apple TV show.
Oh, that was bad. Ooh, I did not like Silo.
Oh, you know what?
As much as you know that what's her face is my girl, Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, you don't
Love
even remember
Rebecca
her
Ferguson.
name. She's your girl.
Yeah, she's my girl. Love Rebecca Ferguson. I did not like Silo.
Wait a second, real quick, because Steve Zahn fits in this like comedic actor kind of thing. Who else is in that? Is
The guy from National Treasure. Who was Nick Cage's right-hand man in National Treasure? He was also funny and should have been the next it guy.
I wasn't
Funny
going there.
it guy. Funny sidekick guy.
Why am I blanking on his name? This is going to be embarrassing when I say it. The guy Stifler from American Pie.
Oh, he's on my list. Sean William Scott is on my list.
Okay.
When you look at Sean William Scott, you go Stifler.
Well, okay, so I initially thought that, but he's been in a lot of other things, and he's been good actually in other things.
A
Goon,
good movie, and I'm pretty sure every listener out there, all one, is gonna say you're an idiot when I drop this. But I thought The Rundown with him and The Rock was a great movie.
It was a really solid movie.
I
Really
was
good movie.
entertained.
The Rock, Sean William Scott, and Christopher Walken. That's star-studded. Come on. Come on.
It was an incredible
Who doesn't
movie.
like
It was
that
great.
movie?
I love it.
Who doesn't like that movie? But I thought of Sean William Scott as Stifler, but then I was like, but doesn't Jason Biggs fit into this more than Sean William Scott does?
Probably a little bit. Stifler was a much more iconic character.
Yeah.
Like you remember Stifler. Like it's like, that guy, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. All right, go on with your list.
I never watched him, but he was kind of where did Ryan Reynolds get his start? What National Lampoon? He was um
Did
you know
he
what
get
I'm
his
talking
did
about.
he get his start in that movie Waiting?
That was an early one, which spot on. That was a documentary as far as I'm concerned. We
Well,
both have worked in the restaurant industry, and that was not a comedy movie. That was a documentary.
we worked at the
That's
top.
exactly what
Hold
happens in a
on, hold
kitchen.
on. I mean, you worked at a number of other restaurants, as did I. Worked in a
No,
couple of them.
not a
We
number one other restaurant.
we
Yeah,
worked
yeah, yeah.
we worked at the top echelon
Yes, we
of the
did.
restaurant industry. We worked
Yes.
at Chili's.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have like Ruth Chris, you got like Morton Steakhouse, and then you got like Chili's, and that's where we were at.
Top echelon. Chicago Ridge Chili's. Shout out.
Yeah, the Chop House, Chili's.
All right. Yeah.
All right, I got one other one on my list
All right.
before we move on to sports, which I'm pretty sure is what this whole podcast is supposed to be about. It's not. This
No, it's the
podcast is
West
for
Wing.
us.
It's about the West Wing.
It's a West Wing podcast. Yeah, yeah. John Heater, Napoleon Dynamite. Been in other stuff,
I will give it
but
to
you
you.
cannot see that guy and not go, it's Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Did you ever see School for Scoundrels? Him and Billy Bob Thornton going after the same girl. Billy Bob Thornton teaches like a pickup artist class. John Heater takes it, and they're going after the same girl.
No, didn't see it. I did see
Funny.
a movie with John Heater, and it was so bad that I don't even remember the name. It was like
All right, go watch
last
School
year.
for Scoundrels. It's a little bit older now, but that movie was pretty stinking funny.
All right. All right. So we got the list though is like Christopher McDonald, John
Top.
Heater,
Yeah. Top.
and then maybe
All right.
Emilio Estevez just for Adam. That's the list?
That's fine. I think Richard Schiff made the list as well. We named a couple.
Right.
Like legit, you're solid on the list.
Richard Schiff, right? All right. Moving on. On to sports. The Stanley Cup playoffs are the Stanley Cup final. The Stanley Cup final is well underway. We are
full swing.
Heading into game 4 tonight. Game 3 happened 2 nights ago. It was a thrilling 5-4 win for the Golden Knights in double overtime. And do you have thoughts on it that you wanted to bring up?
I do.
Go ahead.
After the run, yeah, I do.
I set you up. I set the table. I set the table for you.
Yeah, no. Just a little more context. Scoreless first. They go into the second, and Mitch Marner just goes off. Just playing like the great one. He scores a hat trick in about 6 minutes. They add another goal. So they're up 4-0 into the second. And even at this point in time, when they're down 4, when Carolina's down 4, both Sean McDonough and Ray Ferrara, who's like calling the game, Ray Ferrara's like, Carolina just wants to get out of here alive. Like he's saying this on TV.
He did
it's
say
like
that.
The game is over.
Yeah.
They just want to leave, go back to the hotel, put this one behind us. And as soon as he says that, Carolina goes off. They score 3 goals in 39 seconds, which is unheard of. They eventually tie it up. But yeah.
While we're on the topic of hockey, just real quick, we said that we were going to make right our mistakes from previous weeks. While we're on the subject of hockey, last week I said Pierre LeBrun coached half of the league. Pierre LeBrun is like the longtime reporter. He works at The Athletic.
Yes, now, he is.
He probably has coached one or two.
Did you mean
teams.
Peter Lavoyette?
I was talking about Peter Lavalette.
Peter's name?
Well, I was talking about Peter DeBoer, but Peter Lavalette also fits into this because Peter Lavalette is now the coach of the LA Kings, and this I'm pretty sure is his 8th team. But
yeah,
Peter DeBoer,
he's on like 15. He's coached just about everybody.
Yeah,
Peter DeBoer fixed as well.
The funny thing was in the report about Laviolette getting the Kings job is like the line in there was Laviolette is well known for having a great first season. And then, but like, there's no sentence after that. He got a 3-year deal. It's like, well, why does he keep getting a bunch of jobs? It's like, well, he's only good for the first season, and then he kind of stinks. But moving on, go back to the Stanley Cup.
Did we bring up Torts last week? I can't even remember. Like the job that Torts is doing right now, it's incredible. Yeah. And I'm watching the game game 3, and Torts just looks like he's just there just having a good time. Like Hey guys, go play some hockey.
Well, they
Get
got
out there, boys. Have
well
a
the
good time.
they got 2 goals. The Golden Knights got 2 goals rescinded early, I think in the second period.
Yes. Yeah.
They had a goalie
One was
interference
interference, goalie
and one
interference,
was
clear
offsides.
goalie interference. Guy skates right through the crease, hits a goal in the head. Yeah.
And then Mark Stone was offsides on the first one. And they cut to Torts, and Torts for the offside one, he's just like, oh yeah, that's offsides.
No, it was. He's saying, yeah. I think for the interference, he's like, yeah, no goal. Like, yeah, that's right.
He's like, whatever.
He's not fighting for it at all. Like, yeah, that's a good call. That's
Yeah.
fine. Torch just seems like he's having a great time.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Anyway,
This game, Carolina just turns it on in the third, end up tying it up, goes into overtime. Yes, Vegas scores on a odd goal, bouncing off the boards. Carolina can't corral it and kind of goes in off of one of the players or goes off the goalie or whatever. Now, it's not that this is a common occurrence in hockey where you're down 4 goals, especially in a playoff game, and the other team rallies back. It's not like this is a normal thing. It is not. I want to make that clear before I ask this question. But what sport is it easiest to come back from a huge deficit? Like, you are down a ton to the point where the broadcasters are being like, this game's over. Stick a fork in them. Let's go back to the hotel. We don't need to play out the rest of this. This is pretty much what Sean McDonough was saying. Like, what sport are like, no. Even though they're down an astronomical amount, like, this other team can rally. They can come back. What sport is it easiest to come back?
I'm just going to give you the 4 in order. Hockey is the easiest. Basketball is the second.
Hockey is?
Yeah, hockey's the easiest. I'll give a reason in a second.
I'm gonna disagree.
Hockey's the easiest.
Disagree very strongly, but go ahead.
Hockey's the easiest. Basketball's second easiest. Baseball's third, and football's fourth. Football, it's nearly impossible to come back from. I mean, I know the Bears did it in the second half of their NFC divisional round game.
The Bears did it a lot last year. The Bears were playing from behind and rallying pretty hard.
But I mean, it depends on the time of the game, but like that's my ranking just off the top of my head. And the reason is a puck luck. And actually, I have a whole thing about this. I have thoughts about.
Oh, did I open up a can of worms?
Yeah,
this is going to be the rest of the show now. You're going to talk about puck luck for the next 30 minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Here's my thing about hockey. And I love hockey, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I love watching hockey. I really enjoy the game, and I don't want this to seem like I'm poo-pooing hockey players' skills, because they're extremely skilled. The referees.
I was going to say, let's
skilled.
get Pavel Datsyuk on the show, and
my favorite player, my favorite player, the magician Pavel Datsyuk. I'm gonna lead off with a question: is hockey not as popular in America because there is a perception that hockey is somewhat more random than the other sports? Like, for example, there were 9 goals scored in the game 3. 4 of them were 4 goals were pretty random. Like, in terms of like the first goal by Marner was a random goal. He flung it at the net and it hit the defenseman's stick and it went in.
I don't categorize that as random. Like, putting a puck on net is what you're supposed to do.
Perception.
Some of them go in, some of them don't. That's not random. That's strategy.
Perception.
Put the puck on the net.
The common man's perception is when you watch hockey, and again, we're going to throw another West Wing reference in there, which I think we've referenced earlier in this show.
Yes, we have in this podcast.
Is John Hoynes says, if you ever watched hockey, does anybody seem like they know what's going on? Even the broadcaster, he even says, even the broadcasters seem surprised. Oh, Kachuk passes to the man, and it scores. Like, I think that is the common man perception of hockey. Now, you and I both know that hockey's much more skilled than that. And yes, there is strategy involved in just peppering the net with pucks.
Yeah.
But
and they got a window. They're shooting at a window. They don't always hit the window, obviously. Right. But they know it's like, I'm going stick side right now. I'm going glove side. I'm going whatever it is. Like, they have a window they're shooting for.
Now, I think that there's a bigger aspect to why hockey is less popular, but I think there, going back to our conversation last week about dominance and how people maybe unconsciously like to see domination, there is something that you can see in Michael Jordan's game. There is a, a calculation that Tom Brady's making on the field where you can see greatness. You can see a well planned out play. You can see skill on the TV or in person. Whereas in hockey, it can often come off as that was lucky. And
Sure.
I think people maybe watch hockey and go, this isn't skill, this is luck.
Maybe. I have never had this conversation. I've never been in a conversation of, is hockey just all luck before? I don't know if
Again,
the
I want
common
to be very
man is
clear.
thinking about this necessarily.
I want to be very clear to any Canadian who watches this show in the future, because Lord knows there are none of them listening to it right now.
Long way into the future. Yes, years from now.
Years from
Going
now,
back to all of our episodes. Yeah.
when they are studying our brains for some reason. I am not saying that hockey is all luck. I love hockey. I'm just saying, perception wise,
Sure.
maybe
I
why people in America watching hockey are going like, this isn't as
yeah,
enticing because maybe it's just luck. Now, I think the bigger reason, and here's a more serious point. I think the bigger reason that why hockey is not as prevalent is because people don't play it like as kids.
sure.
Football and basketball are more
Sure.
important in America, and baseball is more important in America, just because you grow up playing it, and that's what you want to watch because you grew up playing it as a kid. You want to see professionals do it,
We
and
will do a deeper dive on this. I think it was a Wall Street Journal reporter who wrote a book recently about football. Somebody wrote a book recently on, I think it's just like football is the name of the book or whatever. And he said that's one of his arguments. He says that actually you will see a decline in popularity in the NFL because fewer and fewer kids are playing it due to safety reasons.
I believe
They
who wrote
are
that book was
gravitating toward flag football, like that. It's kind of replacing the contact football, full pads, getting in it. But you will see a decline in NFL ratings. And this is like a couple decades from now. But that's his argument, is because of less youth participation in the actual sport.
I think you're referring to Chuck Klosterman. I believe Chuck Klosterman wrote that book.
Yeah, that might be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to answer my own question.
I don't even remember what question you asked. So go ahead.
What is it? What is the easiest sport to come back in? You are down a lot. You are facing a steep uphill climb to the point where you're staring at a cliff.
Oh, I gave my rankings,
and you said
I said
hockey,
puck luck,
basketball, baseball, and football.
Well, it's just because of possessions. We always talk about this number of possessions,
and that's why I'm going. How is basketball not at the top of your list? But and I would also point like basketball. You see this all the time. The team that's down 20, they make a run.
Yeah,
there's so many points scored in basketball. So it's your possessions point, but it's also total amount of points scored that I think that's what makes basketball the easiest to come back in.
Yeah, admittedly, basketball and hockey are really close in my ranking. And the increase of 3-point shot also lends itself to basketball being a little bit easier to come back in. I don't know. I'm going hockey still. I feel like this happens every year where there's like multiple games.
It does. And it always happens to the Maple Leafs. It always has happened to the Leafs. The Leafs will be up like 4-5-0 in the third. Boston comes back, storms back with 5 minutes left.
It just seems like somebody's always coming back in hockey. I don't know. Like whether it's just,
but I would make the same case for basketball. It always seems, especially let's say NCAA tournament time, team goes up 20.
Oh, come on.
Other team storms back.
Come on. Those are, we just talked about this. Those are 18-year-old kids. They start pissing their pants if the other team goes on a 10-0 run.
If I watched the NBA, it probably would be the exact same in the NBA.
Actually, it is the exact same thing in the NBA.
There's my point. Thank you for making my point for me.
The Spurs have been up double digits, I think, in every game. They've at least been up double digits in game 2 and game 3 of the NBA Finals.
Yep.
And the Knicks have come back both times and either taken the lead or, I mean, last night the Spurs won, but
we don't have the numbers. Somebody's going to run the numbers. We have a research person, but we need a number cruncher as well. Do we have a number cruncher on staff?
When we get to the credits today. I did make some new hires this week that I
Thank you.
didn't run by
Hopefully
you.
somebody's running the numbers. Somebody can run the numbers on, I want to know like amount of percentage of games in hockey down 4 coming back from that deficit and then down 20 in the NBA. And my guess is there's a higher percentage of teams coming back from down 20 in the NBA than there are in the NHL down 4 goals coming back.
Well, we're going to put out a job posting because I didn't hire for that position. There are other positions that I hired for.
After that, though, so it's NBA, then NHL, then the NFL. I think it's easier to come back in the NFL than it is for baseball.
Really?
Baseball, yeah, if you're down 5 runs, sorry, there are no 5-run home runs.
But don't we see, especially in today's game, the like big innings happen? I don't know if more often is the case, but runs seem to come in bunches in the more so in the modern game. There's less of a small ball. Let's get a run here, run there.
Yeah.
Big
when
innings,
they're all aiming for the fences, then yes, you're going to have more big innings.
So wouldn't that lend itself? I don't know. NFL just seems
nobody's
hard.
Scoring runs.
You can just sit
you're
on
down
the ball
5
in the
runs.
NFL.
Nobody scores 5 runs in a game.
Well,
I say that hyperbolically.
Yeah, the Cubs don't.
Which transition into our next talking point.
You're welcome.
Perfect setup. That was a lob right there. That was fantastic.
A little softball pitch.
I'm going to slam it home right now. So the Cubs have gone from 27-12 on May 7th to now a month later, after going 7-20 in this past month, to 34-32. They lead the league in runners left on base. Alex Bregman tops that list in the bigs, but don't you worry, Ian Happ is nipping at his heels in that category as well. They went from first in runs per game to now 26th in runs per game in the league. Bregman is batting 135, not to pick on Alex Bregman, but here we go. Alex Bregman is batting 135 on at-bats that end in a breaking pitch. And Dansby Swanson leads the league, is worst in the league at hitting breaking balls.
No, let's say leads the league. We got to be positive.
He's been benched the past couple of games. And so it is time for me to slip into bombastic radio show guy. Who do we fire? Who do we fire? We got to fire somebody. Somebody's the problem. Where do I point my finger of blame? Who takes the fall? Do we start at the top? Is this a Ricketts? Is this a Jed thing? Are we starting at middle management? Is this a council or Dustin Kelly thing? Do we point it at the players? Do we point it at Danny Mueller, the clubhouse manager? Are we pointing it at Dan Kiermaier, the head grounds crewman? Are we pointing it at the hot dog guy? My wife's hot dog guy. There's my man. I want to know who to point my finger of blame at, because here's the thing. By the end of this show, somebody better be fired based on our recommendation here. Go.
You just really flexed there by just naming everybody in the Cubs organization. You're just like,
I almost did. I missed Crane Kenny.
I'm surprised you didn't look up the hot dog guy's name.
We're going to find him at Wrigley this summer. We're bringing him on the show. We already said this.
Top of my list is Clark, the mascot.
Dude, Clark has a lot to answer for. They brought him up into the booth, and they were talking about how he won Mascot of the Year last year. Yeah. And what has he done this year? Nothing.
Yeah. Top of my list is
what is Clark's batting average with runners in scoring position is what I want to know.
You really took my thunder with the hot dog guy thing, because I was going to make the joke that the popcorn vendor in section 121, we started digging into the numbers after we talked about that a couple episodes ago, and he has
sold nothing.
He is not meeting his quota. And
in the past 2 homestands, he has 2 sales.
I got beef. I've got a long-standing beef with Jed Hoyer. I've got beef.
I was gonna say we're gonna make enemies in this segment right here. It's okay.
I've got
beef.
Okay,
but I want to know who to blame. Why do the Cubs suck
I've
right
got beef
now.
with Crane Kenny. Obviously, my beef with Crane Kenny is not uh, on the field related. It's more of
Baseball related at all?
you.
Yeah.
You had an organization that is so well beloved across the country because of WGN, and you have squandered it. You've squandered it, and that is your fault, Crane Kenny. I'm pointing at you. I don't even care if I get in trouble for this, Crane Kenny. I'm calling you out. We're gonna be bombastic radio hosts. Then I'm gonna turn on my wrestler.
Bombastic radio show guy.
I
That's
am
what we
gonna
are right
I'm
now.
gonna go full wrestler and just go, I'm gonna call you out, Crane Kenny. See you in the ring. Um, I don't know.
That's a little bit more organizational, though. I'm talking about the swoon in
No, I know.
May.
I
They
know.
haven't won in a month, and
I mean,
something is fundamentally wrong.
I'm airing
What's going
grievances.
on?
Um, man, it's hard not to point your finger at the players. Um, I think it's interesting that this team had 2 10-game winning streaks earlier in the year, and you point to those and go, well, the players can't be that bad, or the team construction can't be that bad. They've obviously dealt with a lot of injuries to the pitching staff in particular, but the hitting just isn't there, and it hasn't been there for about 3 or 4 weeks. And
No.
Bregman, yeah, Bregman would be. I mean, Dansby and Bregman are at the top of my list in just terms of like, what are you guys doing
Gotta
at
hit
the
the ball,
plate?
man.
What are you guys doing at the
Gotta
plate?
hit the ball
So I don't really have an answer. I would love to get rid of Jed Hoyer. He just signed a contract, so that's not going to happen.
forever. I think
Um,
it's a lifetime contract. He got the old Xi Jinping, like, yeah, you can be there forever
hey, you
until
know
you
what? While
die.
we're
It's
pissing people
fine.
off, let's just do this
Yeah.
now. Jed Hoyer, what have you done? What have you done not under Theo Epstein? Can you give me your resume under Theo Epstein? Have you done anything? What did you do in San Diego when you were out there alone? Jack
Nothing.
Italy, you have as much to your name as Andy does bachelor degrees, which is nothing, which is zero. So you know what?
Yeah,
If
that
we're
one.
going off and making
Yeah. Well, that
enemies,
one was not
let's
my
just go
fault.
ahead
I
and make
actually did go to
enemies.
college, but yeah.
Judd Hoyer, I'll see you in the ring. Let's go. I'm tired today. So you know what? I'm picking fights.
I mean, yeah, we're no, maybe Jed might not be a friend of the show at this point in time. We'll win him over. Um, it comes down to me. It's like I was not a fan of the Alex Bregman signing to begin with. I know we're just in month 2 of month 60 that we have with him on a 5-year deal, but it's not looking. The trajectory is not great right now. And I wasn't a huge fan of the signing to begin with. You don't sign a 32-year-old player who has shown noticeable decline from what he once was. Like, you don't sign him to a 5-year deal. It was just, and as much as a good clubhouse guy he is, and they keep touting that on the marquee broadcast is great clubhouse guy. That's fantastic. I love clubhouse guys. I also like ball players who produce on the field, which is what he needs to become. So hopefully Alex Bregman proves me wrong. He's a great signing. He's going to turn this whole thing around. I don't think the numbers are pointed in the right direction at all. History is not on his side in this. And that comes down to Jed. Jed said, that's our guy. We're spending money on that guy. And so that one's on Jed. But where is there accountability in this? You're absolutely right. Jed has done not a lot on his own outside of Theo's shadow. And it's stuff like this. It's the signing of Alex Bregman of like, come on, man. Like, that's not the guy that's going to push you over the top. And Jed just doesn't understand that. Um, I'm not inside of that locker room. I am not inside of that
You're not going
clubhouse.
fishing with them? You and Richard
I'm
Schiff
not
aren't going
going fit. Well, I'm
fishing?
going fishing with Richard Schiff.
Yeah.
Um, there are times when it's like the message just gets stale. That's probably what happened with Joe Madden. And I think a couple of those guys would probably admit that is when he keeps hitting the same note over and over and over again. It's like, we've done the song and dance. We need to hear a new voice. I think Dustin Kelly's probably a really good hitting coach, but I just wonder if he's saying the same old stuff over and over again. Again, I know nothing. I know nothing. I'm not inside of that, but you kind of start wondering, hey, if they're not hitting, and this happened last year too, so it's not just a knee-jerk reaction. They had a really, really bad month. this is a little systemic at this point in time because this happened last year. This happened the year before as well. This is something that the Cubs do year in, year out, is have really, really bad stretches where the offense is anemic. It is on ice. They cannot hit a beach ball to save their life up and down that order. And at that point in time, it's like, yeah, it is going to be, it's the Chili Davis thing. Like,
No, you took my thunder again. I was just going to say,
sorry,
let's bring back Chili
that's the show.
Davis.
Go ahead. Say what? All right, fine. Forget I said Chili Davis.
Let's bring back Chili Davis. Yeah, I don't. Let's do a separate podcast. The one interesting thing, obviously, noted Bregman's age. Dansby's getting up there in years. Manny Machado is having a terrible season now.
Ooh.
This is not
Ooh.
this is not new. Everybody knows you hit
Decline.
your early 30s and you just
The
decline.
graph is well known. It goes like this.
And it seems pretty severe. And I just wonder if I would suspect, theorize, throw out there that the fact that you got a bunch of younger, harder throwing guys out there, we might see the decline be even steeper for some of these guys.
Yeah.
Just in terms of their numbers dropping off and precipitously quicker,
Yeah.
But we'll do a deeper dive on that, maybe subject sometime down the road, because there are some very notable older age guys. I mean, Mookie Betts doesn't look great at the plate either. So
No.
there's a number of guys who are aging who their drop offs are on display.
They're here.
They're
here. The end is near. The end is here for some of these guys.
Unfortunately for the Cubs, Dansby's on that list, and Ian Happ appears to be somewhere on that list.
As much as I love Happer, like he's
Yeah.
great, and I think he has made some adjustments as he's gotten older, starting to swing a little bit earlier, and he's able to make. But man, it's noticeable.
So
Just
did you
slow down.
who are we firing before we move on?
I like Dan Kiermaier. I think he does a great job with the grounds. I like Danny Mueller, good clubhouse guy. We're not firing him. And I don't want to fire Dustin. I don't want to get Dustin Kelly fired. Did we settle on Jed? I mean, I think we can always just go, yeah, Jed needs to get fired. Sure.
Man, how are we ever going to sing the stretch at Wrigley if we keep calling out Jed Hoyer?
We're never going to do that. Yeah.
Man.
I mean, we can go to Wrigley and sing the stretch.
No,
That's
I want to be. I want to
Jed
be in the
can't
booth.
stop us from doing that.
I want to be in the booth with JD and Boog.
Well, I just want to be in the booth with
Hey,
Boog
why
and
did
JD.
why did they stop doing? Why did people stop imitating Harry? That was a thing. Right after he died, they had guest people come in and sing the stretch, and they would always imitate Harry. Why is that not a thing anymore? That's what I would do if I were singing the stretch.
Years. I mean, it's been a while. Harry died a long time ago.
Hmm.
Oh, we're gonna have to look that one up.
He died in the early 2000s, didn't he?
Yeah, mid 80s.
Oh wait,
No, sorry,
not the 1980s.
Harry was in his mid 80s when he died. I want to say he was like 84 or something.
Yeah, he was in his mid 80s, right?
No, he didn't die in the mid. Yeah, he was still calling games in the 90s. That was my childhood.
Did Aunt Mary look a little bit like Harry Carey?
Oh, absolutely. Our Aunt Mary might have been a dead ringer. She was a doppelganger for Harry Carey. It was fantastic.
She kind of even talked like him too. She was a little wild.
A little bit, yeah.
She was a little wild. Yeah. Rest in peace, Harry. Rest in peace, Aunt Mary.
Peace, Aunt Mary. Yeah, great message, Julie. All right, we got to follow up on our Dynasty talk from last week, but I'm sure you want to take a break and do a read. So before you do a classic you and get halfway through a sentence and then, whoa, we got to stop.
No, we got to stop in the middle of me thought.
How about you do your read right now?
No, let's start the Dynasty talk and then flip it over to me. I'll start talking and then we'll do a read. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. As always, this episode is presented by Legends Attic in Claremont. As it referenced, we just had Christopher McDonald and Chauncey Leopardi. Actually, that wasn't us. That wasn't us. Tower Buzzers brought them out. We facilitated because we're good team players, because we have experience, doing these events. So we help facilitate some of the some of the events that go on at ONT. Mickey Hatcher is going to be the next Legendary Tuesday. That is next week, Tuesday, the 16th of June. If you are in the area or if you're not in the area, ONT Airport, again, we're looking at you. If you want to sponsor this podcast, float us a little bit of money to pub you. We'll get some people to fly into ONT Airport to come to
Really, you
ONT.
could say that to anybody. We will pub anybody if you float us some cash. That's fine.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. Mickey Hatcher, 1988 World Series. He had a big home run in that series, I believe, from what I remember. And that dude is just a joy to be around. He's been around the group for a little while. He was at the Oral Hershiser Chevrolet grand opening. He was in the parade. He got out of the car that he was riding in the parade so that he could greet the people who were lined up on the street. He is just a bundle of joy. He started dancing. Mickey Hatcher's a great guy. So come on out and see him on the 16th next week, Tuesday, for Legendary Tuesday at ONT. Besides that, Legends, we got a lot of fun things going on. We'll be at LA Card Show this weekend. We'll be doing some content. I'll be doing some content with your boy Johnny, Christian. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to be at Fanatics Fest most likely next month in New York. So make sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube, Legends Attic or legends.attic for our Instagram handle for all the fun stuff going on there. This episode is also presented by Oral Hershiser Chevrolet.
Oh, Chevy. Didn't miss my cue this time.
I thought you were a little bit lax. And you just kind of jumped to attention. That
well, because last time I missed it. I was like, it's the only role I have on this show is doing the Oh Chevy. And when I missed it last week, I haven't been able to sleep all week. And so I'm like, I gotta jump on my Oh Chevy this week. Yeah. So that's why it was a little boom right there, punch in the face.
Good work. If you need a vehicle, come on into Oral Hershiser Chevrolet in Chino, California, at the corner of Central and Riverside. Bulldog is there very, very often. You can pretty much guess when he's going to be there because kind of coincides with some of the Dodger home games. But if you need a Chevy, I drive a Chevy Equinox EV. It rides like a dream. I got to tell you, I love it. So if you're looking for a new vehicle, look us up. Chevy.
Personal testimony plays. People
Chevy,
love personal testimonies. Yeah.
And I love my car. I love my vehicle.
There you go.
Ochevy.com. If you're wondering why he says Chevy all the time, O stands for Oral, H stands for Hershiser, and Chevy stands for Chevrolet. So there's the acronym for you, Chevy. And it's also the website where you can start searching for your new car today. Thanks again, Oral Hershiser Chevrolet and Legends Attic for sponsoring this podcast. Now back to the show. All right, go ahead. Start us off. Restart the Dynasty talk. You ruined my bit of stopping everything.
Yeah, you were gonna bust in mid sentence like you always do. So I just want to stop the preemptive strike. There is just go to the read. Just go to the read.
I just want to stop the train on the tracks and just start the show. Go ahead. Whatever.
Last week, we got into a little bit more like theoretical discussion of what makes a dynasty. As always, it spun wildly out of control, but we never actually talked about like what actually constitutes a dynasty in particular sports and then who fits that bill. So I was thinking about this as like, well, do we want to do this deductively and establish here's the criteria? I did this last week. It's like, here's the criteria. You got to win X amount of, and here was my equation. You got to win X amount of championships in Y amount of years, something along those lines. It might be different for every sport, but I'm going, let's do this in reverse. Let's do this inductively. And I want to look at a list of champions and who's made a championship game or series in these sports. And then say, is that a dynasty? And then kind of put that on the list, get a bunch of teams of this is definitely a dynasty. They're in the conversation and then build the criteria based on who's on that list. All right. So I looked at the last 50 years because nobody's listening to this show, but I would imagine it might skew a little bit younger. Nobody's remembering anywhere past the 80s, except for our one listener. Grandma is going to turn 100, so she remembers all of this, but whatever. We're not going to go past.
You think we skew young?
No. We're the Tony Kornheiser demographic.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah,
we're competing with Tony Kornheiser, so it's like the 70 plus crowd. So maybe I should have done that before 80s, before the 80s
before
here at
the
the Dynasty. And the people would have been like, oh, yeah, our listeners are going to, those are that's my youth. That's my youth.
the good old days, as they would call it.
Yeah.
All right, go
Anyway,
ahead. Give me your list of teams.
so I went 50 years. So started in the 70s, mid 70s. Let's go basketball first. You tell me, and I have a list here of when they've won the championship and also if they made an appearance in the championship game or series. The Lakers in the 80s were in it almost every single year. They won it 80, 82, 85, 87, 88, and they were in it 83, 84, 89, 91. They lost 91, obviously, to our Bulls. That is a dynasty. Like
Yeah.
they are solidly on the list. In fact, that might be other than the Bulls, only because we're biased, like that is the quintessential dynasty where you're making it every single year and you've won 5 championships in
I
that
think it'd be
span, in
better.
a decade.
Hold on. It'd be better
Over a
if,
decade.
which year did they not make the finals in that 12-year stretch?
81, 86, and 90.
Wow. So they, and then like an
hold
11-year,
on.
in like a
That-
10-year
I'm not
stretch,
even-
they only, this is good podcasting.
That's right.
Andy's
That's right.
staring into the screen.
Yeah, it is. It's a great podcast. Okay. So yeah, only 81 and 90, it's looking like.
Wow. Yeah, that's a
That's
dynasty.
incredible. Like that, again, quintessential dynasty, they're a lock. The Celtics during the same span won in 81, 84, 86. They went in 85 and 87. Also on the list. They are a dynasty. You won 3. You attended 2 others. I think they're on the list.
Hey, I got a question.
I'm going to bring up something after I kind of go through the next few teams here, because some of that is, I think some of the dynasty talk needs to be paired with, are you a cultural phenomenon during your time? Both the Lakers and the Celtics meet that criteria. You have faces for your organization that are faces well known across the country.
Yeah, I guess when you list that off, one, I'm not a basketball historian. The ABA merger, the ABA NBA merger happened before this run, right? That happened
Yes.
in like the late 70s or very
70s.
early 80s. Okay.
70s.
I guess when you list that off, the first thought that comes to mind is like, is the dynasty at all not as significant because it was only 2 teams competing in this era? Like, is there anything to the fact
Let's
that it
put
was
a pin in
just
that and come back to that one.
okay?
Because I think there's going to be a couple conversations that spin out of it, especially when we start going to these other sports as well, because the criteria can change a little bit based on the sport that we're talking about. Okay.
As it
So let me
should.
keep reading off the NBA list here. We have the Pistons. This is the one that I'm going to go. There's 2 on this list that I'm going, are they a dynasty? The Pistons won in 89 and 90. They went in 88. So that's 3 championship games in a row. They won 2. I'm not entirely sure they're on my list. I'm going to come back to them. The Bulls, just because we're homers, they're on there. 1, 91 through 93, and then again 96, 97, and 98. The Lakers had a good run here. They won 2000, 2001, 2002.
Kobe Shaq.
Then they won again in 09 and 10.
Right.
They were also in it 04 and 08. One of those years, I think they lost to maybe the Pistons. The Spurs are an interesting one here because they spread their championships out. 99, 03, 05, 07, 14. They also made it in 13. I think they're on the list, even though it's over essentially 3 decades. They've spanned 3 decades there. They're on the list. The next 2 are going to be interesting. Are the Heat on your list of dynasties? They won it in 12, 13. They were in it 11 and 14. So they went to 4 in a row. They won 2 out of those. The Warriors so they're not on your list. So they won 2 out of 4.
If you're
not on your
watching,
list. Okay,
if you're
fine.
watching on the YouTube, I was shaking my head.
Yeah,
For the listener.
that's fine. Again, do they have cultural purchase with Dwayne Wade and Shaq and Chris Bosh? I'm sorry, that was not Shaq. What am I talking about? That
Yeah,
was
what are
the
you
Chris.
talking about?
That was the Dwayne Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh.
Yeah,
Did Shaq won one there though, didn't he? Or he
they
was
won
part of
in
one?
2006. D Wade and Shaq won in
Okay,
2006.
okay. That was the decision with LeBron. Okay. The Cavs are the interesting one. They went, I did not know this. They went 4 years in a row. I don't remember this.
Yeah.
They won in 16 with LeBron. They went 15, 16, 17, 18. They won in 16. I'm not calling that a dynasty. If you
No,
only win one,
you can
you're not a dynasty, even
you
if you
can
go four in a row.
probably call, and this is where I would make the distinction is like, I'm not considering the Heat a dynasty. I'm not considering the Cavs a dynasty. I would probably consider LeBron James a dynasty.
That's a good point.
Like,
LeBron is part of all of those teams.
yeah, and that's where it's like that. For as much as I think Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, LeBron James
Not
has
even an
a
argument. There's no,
career
yeah,
has a
there's no
career
conversation.
that spans longer than MJ played. He has better numbers than MJ for the most part, except for maybe points per game. And he's appeared in like what 14 finals. Like it's crazy.
A
I would
lot of them.
consider him as
Yeah.
himself a dynasty.
Yeah. So the other team that's on this list are the Warriors. I think this is a clear cut, like they're a dynasty. 15, 17, 18, 22, they've won. They were in at 16 and 19 as well. So on this list, you're not saying the Heat are part of it. I'm cool with that. You're not saying the Cavs are part of this list. I'm cool with that as well. Are the Pistons a dynasty?
The 1980s bad boy Pistons.
88, 89, 90. Won
No,
two out of the three.
no,
Not, I was
I'm
going to
not
say, if you're
saying.
not giving the Heat, if you're not putting the Heat on the list, the Pistons can't make this list.
I think the number's three. You got to win three championships.
Okay.
Like
So that's what I'm saying is, okay, if we're identifying this team as a dynasty, we have the Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, Lakers, Spurs, Warriors. All of them won three or more. The Celtics on this list have won the fewest at three. They also did go to five in a 8 year span. So you're saying after we pull those out and saying these are the definitive dynasties, the minimum is three, and you're going to multiple.
So I was going to say it's not simply that you have to win three championships. There's a plus, right? It's three plus a number of other things. I don't, going
Three plus. Okay.
three, you got to appear in a couple. You've got to
Yeah.
have sustained playoff appearances. I think is important. You got, there's some, with the Spurs, right? The last couple of years they were really down, but for the majority of those 30 years, they've been
The Spurs are in the conversation. We've
right.
talked about this. Do you have a different name for that? That's not like a normal dynasty, how we're defining it here in this show. Last week's conversation is what do you do with those teams that are just organizationally excellent, that have had sustained success over decades, like the Spurs, or even a team like the Brewers, who are going to be in it every year, who never win? I think you need a name for both of those types of teams.
Yeah, because
outside of this list where we go, that's a dynasty. That is eye test, sniff test right there. That's a dynasty. And then you build criteria off of that.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting question because I wouldn't even necessarily put all of the teams that have been we quote as dynasties as great organizations.
No.
Like as sad as it is to say, the Bulls are not a
The
great
Bulls are a
organization.
terrible organization.
You look at them in the 80s and it was
They caught lightning in a bottle.
right. They got lucky. I mean, that's puck luck if you ever saw it. It's just Michael Jordan felled them, third pick in the draft in what 84, and they got lucky that they lucked into the greatest player of all time. And outside of that, their organization has been terrible. Before Michael Jordan got there, they were the cocaine Bulls, and then once Jordan left, they were a disaster. They're not. You can be a dynasty and not be necessarily a great organization, but you can also be a great organization and not be a dynasty. But I think
the Spurs are both. The Spurs make the dynasty list and are a great organization. However, we want to label that. Whatever
Lakers,
sort of dynastic name we want to attach to that.
I think the Lakers and we may be getting into like, how do I identify what why is there a dynasty, right? the Lakers under Dr. Buss were a dynasty. Wait, again, we can maybe circle back to the 80s and the run that the Celtics and Lakers had and see if the dynasties were lessened because there's really only two teams competing. But like Dr. Buss made the Lakers into what they are, and he was still around in the early 2000s when Kobe and Shaq had their run. Now, since Dr. Buss is gone, they've been pretty spotty at best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's a, you know, organizational excellence. There are excellent organizations, and we can point to the different ones in sports, right? You referenced the Spurs, the Dodgers, obviously, the Brewers, as of the last 10 years, probably you would say. So yeah, dynasty is a very specific thing. It's a maybe a 7-year stretch of dominance where you win at least 3 titles and
Well,
you
in the
go.
NBA, I mean, we're still gonna go. I have the NFL and Major League Baseball in here as well. So you said in the NBA, it's 3+ something.
Yep.
So it's either 3 and then a couple more championships, or at least 3, and then you're making an appearance in the finals.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Okay. So
And
let's see if the criteria changes a little bit in the NFL.
one note about the NBA too is
Yeah.
the last note about the NBA, and then we can move on to the next sport. Is like I asked about the ABA thing because the Celtics of like Bill Russell, I would not consider a dynasty. Like Bill Russell Celtics, he won like 11 championships. There were only like
Yeah.
four
Brett
teams.
Auerbach's coach. Yeah.
There were only like 4 teams. There is a certain threshold that you have to meet in terms of competition, and that's why I asked about the 80s Celtics and Lakers because the NBA was in a
Does it
weird spot.
depreciate the quality of it? Does it depreciate the moniker of
Yeah,
dynasty
the
kind of thing? And
NBA,
you can
the
say the
80s was
same
in
thing
a
about John Wooden's UCLA Bruins. So when like, yeah, they won 27 championships in a row. It's like, okay. It's not the same tournament
right,
setup. Not detracting, not taking away from John Wooden's the greatest coach of all time. But
right.
all right, let's move over to the NFL and see if the criteria changes for you at all, or what you would establish as the criteria after you say that right there is a dynasty. After I looked at the list, here's the ones that I'm pulling. The Steelers starting in 75, 76, 79, and 80. Those were the Terry Bradshaw years. Love me some TV. The 49ers won in 82, 85, 89, 90, and 95. Some of those were with Joe Montana. One of them was with Steve Young. They believe they beat San Diego Chargers in that Super Bowl in 95. These are, by the way, the year the Super Bowl was played. So you got to think of the season prior. The Bills went to 4 Super Bowl, famously, always, always the bridesmaid, never the bride at the Super Bowl. The Bills go 91 and 94. Jim Kelly led Bills there, never win one. They can't be on the list, right?
No,
you got to win.
You got to win.
You got to win. So we're excising the Bills from this list. The Cowboys won 3, 93, 94, and 96. Did not go outside of that. New England, famously, 02, 04, 05, 15, 17, 19. Went in 08, 12, and 18. Foiled, I believe, in 18 by Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles. Kansas City, 20, 23, 24 is when they have won it. They have also been in 21 and 25. You have 4 teams on this list who have won multiple, who have won, if you're sticking with the same criteria for 3+, you have got 4 teams in the past 50 years with Kansas City, New England, 49ers, and the Steelers. Do the Cowboys make the list with only 3 Super Bowls and no plus?
See, here's where I'm struggling in this conversation because I think there needs to be some allowances. I'm playing around with this idea in my head of like football. I think is a little harder to create a dynasty in. Now, I could make the argument that it's hard in the NBA from there's less players and therefore one injury to your best player can derail a season or two. But the less amount of games, as we've talked about this in prior podcasts, just the less amount of games in football, just the variability of and the game has changed a little bit too. Like now it's so quarterback dependent, whereas in the past it was a little bit more team dependent. The Cowboys' best player was not Troy Aikman. The best player was probably Emmitt Smith.
Michael Irvin as well. Yeah, they
Yes.
had a good defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I tend to lean towards the plus being you don't need as much in the plus for the NFL. I'm
Okay.
even leaning towards like you may not even need three to be considered a dynasty. Now, I think I'm going to stick to three because I like the three number. I think that makes
Yeah.
sense just across sports. Is like
So
this
the
is
Cowboys, the '90s Cowboys, America's team, they're making that dynasty list then.
just by the fact that they got three, and
Well, I like there's the plus can be numbers of appearances in, yes, a championship game or series, as we've established. I'm going to go back to they're also a cultural entity. They have cultural purchase as well. That '90s Cowboys team is forever famous.
right,
That's why the Cowboys are known as America's team.
right. I
Like
thought Jerry Jones trademarked that. I thought that was
when
why.
well, he did. I don't know. Did he trademark
No,
that?
it sounds like something Jerry
It
Jones
sounds like
would
something
do.
Jerry would do. When they get Jimmy Johnson in there, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, like there are faces that you recognize. They become very, very marketable. You know Emmett, you know Troy Boy, you know Michael Irvin. I'm going to go with the plus for that Cowboys dynasty. I'll put on the list is the cultural weight that they carried in the '90s as well.
Wait a second. You're including cultural cachet into your equation? Because
That's why,
wouldn't the Miami Heat of the LeBron James Big Three be then qualify? That was the biggest team there was in the NBA. I mean,
yes,
uh,
yes.
they didn't win three, but they were it. Once again,
Different
long
sport.
pauses are good for
Different.
podcasting.
Nothing like dead air on a podcast. That's great. Okay. I'm going to say, no, different sport. Different sport. It doesn't work in basketball because you already said it. It's a little bit easier in basketball than it is in football. I agree with that point, and that's why it doesn't work in the NBA. It works for the Cowboys in the '90s. All those other teams are solidly on the list, though. San
Here's the
Francisco,
well,
New
okay,
England, Kansas City, the Steelers.
can I ask a question about Kansas City though? And
Yeah.
I think they're on the list. I'm not going to take them
They
off.
need to do nothing else. If Patrick Mahomes never goes back to the playoffs, they were a dynasty.
Does how they lost those two Super Bowls make a
Badly.
difference?
No, they were there.
Because they got
They got
down.
destroyed. It's the Eagles. The Eagles, they didn't show up.
The Bucks told too. They got crushed.
Yeah,
they
they
got
did.
crushed in both of those games.
Yeah.
And it's like, does that detract? And if you want to talk about cultural cachet, I mean, we talked about this last week of just wanting dynasties. I think Patrick Mahomes coming at the end of Tom Brady's career lends itself to the mysticism of the Chiefs and just how we want to think about them and making them a dynasty. But I look at the two losses that they had in the Super Bowl and I go, woof, that's not dominant.
Clunkers.
That's not dominance.
Clunkers.
Now there are some, in the Bucks game, I'm pretty sure from what I remember, their offensive line was beat up, and that was largely why they got just steamrolled. Is
Mahomes
because
I think, was
Mahomes
under
just
pressure
he was running for his
from the
life
get-go. I
entire
mean, it
game.
was just snap sack. It's done. It's over. Yeah.
I'm not taking them off of the list. I just want to.
No,
want to ask
they're
the question.
solidly on.
Yeah.
I take your point because they didn't show up for a couple of those, but they made it. They're there. Solid.
Yeah, we talk about how you win is important. My mom, my mother, my mom,
my mama.
she always asks, because I always know, like I have alerts on my phone and I'll see when a game finishes and I'll see the final score and I'll go back and watch the game anyway. And she goes, why do
Why
you
do you watch if you already
why
know
do
the
you watch the
score?
game? Why do you watch the game if you know the outcome already? It's like because how you win is important.
Yes.
How you lose is important.
Yeah.
And does that influence your overall view of a whole team over a stretch run? Not really. Again, there are other variables that
I
happen
was
with
going to
that
say
Chiefs
this is
team.
from a very zoomed out perspective.
Right.
When you're looking back on this 20 years from now, you're not looking at the Wikipedia page going, wow, they got beat by 45. You're
Right.
going, oh, they were in the championship game.
Right. And
It's a very
even
zoomed out 30,000 foot perspective.
when we look back at Tom Brady 20 years from now, the 18-0 season in which they lost to Eli, people are going to go, "Oh yeah, they lost to Eli," but nobody's going to be like, "Well, that tarnishes Tom Brady." No, it doesn't.
No,
He was
no.
awesome.
Yeah. All right, we got to pivot to Major League Baseball will be our last one. We might give hockey a special nod a little bit later down the road, but baseball will be our last one here. We got to have conversations about some of the team. Two teams on this list we got to have conversations about. Back in the 70s, Oakland won 3 in a row, 72, 73, 74. Right after that, the Big Red Machine won 2 in a row. I did not include them just because it was back-to-back. I kind of got rid of any back-to-back, not that there were a lot. Toronto makes that list as well. But back-to-back to me is not a dynasty. Especially if you don't go any other time. Just like Cincinnati or Toronto, it's like you went 2 years in a row, you won those 2 years. Kansas City is also on this list. That 2014, 2015 Kansas City team. I'm going to skip over one team in the 90s. Got to circle back to them. This one is the biggest problem, or the one that has vexed me the most. Okay. Going to circle back. People who know anything about baseball know who I'm talking about here. We have the Yankees, 96, 98, 99, 2000. They win again in 2001. Dynasty.
Yep.
They're in. I'm going to put San Francisco on this list. They went every other year. 10, 12, 14 under Bruce. Boch was coach. Madison Bumgarner pitched, I think, every single inning of all of those World Series, and that's why they won. Buster Posey behind the
big
dish.
head Bochy.
Yeah. So they won 3 in 5 years, 6 years, whatever that would be, 5 years. The Dodgers are solidly on the list, 2024, 25. They went in 17 and 18 as well. And they've also been, it seems as a Cub fan, they've been in the NLCS for about 5 decades. Like they're just in it every single year. Okay. So the Dodgers are solidly on the list. There's 2 teams we've got to circle back to here. I'm going to go back to that 90s team. The Atlanta Braves won a World Series in 95 against a very star-studded Cleveland Indians team. They also went to the World Series in 91, 92, 96, 99. They did not win any of those. This is the greatest pitching staff ever assembled on a team. Hall of Famers up and down that starting rotation. And even though they only won 1, I'm sorry, the Atlanta Braves are on my dynasty list in the past 50 years.
I'll allow it. The
Great,
1990
justify it for me, because I got nothing.
Yeah, well, I don't have any justification other than, man, I really like Greg Maddux, and I just want, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this is straight up homer. This is a podcast for us. Greg Maddux has to make this list. Yeah, the Atlanta is the most troubling team, I think, across any sport here that I'm looking at. The Cavs would be another one. It's like, you were in it all that time. But Atlanta, actually, they kind of mirrors the Cavs, where it's like Atlanta made it 5 times in a decade. If you're doing that whole cultural purchase thing, it's like Atlanta was it. They were the it team.
Because doesn't 5 times in a decade also mean that you have to include the Bills going 4 years in a row? Like, I can't allow it. They didn't
win one. Atlanta won. I think winning at least one.
I can't allow it.
Changes the conversation entirely.
I can't allow it.
It changes the whole complexion of this.
I can't allow it. You got to win.
You just said you would allow it, and you got to put Maddox on the list.
Well, I'm admitting my bias, and I am going to be the objective person on this show and say no, we're not allowing the Atlanta Braves in the dynasty.
I am putting the Atlanta Braves on the list. I also am curious as to what you will do with this other team that I omitted here in this conversation, and that is the Houston Astros. 17 asterisk 22 19 21. They also, if you
nice
want
out
to
of order
plus
there.
here, huh?
Nice out of order there. I mean, I know why you
No,
did it that
they
way.
won 17 and 22.
I know.
And then they appeared in the World Series in 1921. And if you want a plus on top of that, 7 straight ALCSs. The ALCS thing alone puts them on the list, but does any sort of cheating scandal negate this discussion?
Yeah, it does.
Or inclusion on this list, I should say.
Because some of those 7 may have been influenced.
There's only one that they were accused of manipulating results outside of the field of play. I'm still going to put them on the list. I think they were a very, very good team that didn't need any sort of extracurriculars or enhancement.
I don't know. Alex Bregman's showing that he might need something.
Yeah. I'm gonna put Houston on the list. Houston is also a dynasty.
So your list is, can you go through the list again? Your list is the Atlanta Braves.
Oakland is a while
Yankees,
back. So in our lifetime here, we got my list is going to start with the Atlanta Braves, the New York Yankees, San Francisco, Houston, and the Dodgers.
Is it easier to have a dynasty in baseball because of the lack of salary cap?
I would say no.
Would you say it's the hardest?
The 80s didn't see any repeats except for the Dodgers, but there was a big gap in between. I think it was like 82 and 88 or whatever. There's more in basketball. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 solid in basketball over that time span. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in football. And let's say if we get rid of Oakland in the early 70s, you only have 5, and you wanted to get rid of Atlanta and Houston. If you get rid of Atlanta and Houston, you only got 3 on that list. That's the lowest of any major sport.
So you're saying it's the hardest?
The numbers would bear that out.
Yeah. So that's why you're saying maybe the plus is even less.
Yes.
And the 3 doesn't even apply because of your Atlanta Braves.
No, well, the 3 doesn't apply for either the Braves or Houston. Houston didn't win 3. They won 2, and then they went to 2 other ones, and they went to 7 ALCSs. They're in the conversation every single year.
Hey, we want dynasties. Let's name them all dynasties. I don't even care. Let's name them all dynasties. I mean, ultimately, I care more about what makes a dynasty than whether we call them that or not.
But we're doing this inductively, and that's what I'm saying is you look at the teams where you go, boom, that right there is a dynasty. You take those teams and then you build the criteria off of it.
So how are you building?
We've established here are the dynasty. Here are solid dynasties in Major League Baseball. What's the criteria?
So how are you? What criteria are you? I think we established for the NBA and the NFL. Like, okay, here are the criteria.
3.
Given your mishmash list here of MLB teams, you're letting everybody in. This is the NBA Hall of Fame. You're just like, come on in, everybody. How are you? What criteria are you using? Induct, please.
1 plus plus. I'm calling it the 1 plus plus rule. You got to win at least 1. Then you got to have 1. You're going multiple other times. And then there's got to be 1 other factor. Little mysterious.
This sounds like
another thing in there you're going to put that team had it. The Braves, my 1 plus plus, 1 championship, First plus, they went to 4 of the World Series. My other plus, Mad Dog and Tom Glavine and John Smoltz.
Mad Dog Russo?
No, Greg Maddux.
uh, One Plus Plus sounds like a really bad like sports app. All the sporting stuff is just on this app. You can watch everything.
One plus plus.
One Plus Plus. All right, it's in consideration. You know what? Next week, maybe by next week, I've decided how we're going to do this in terms of an email PO box. I'm going to have an email that is going to be, the address is going to be a PO box. So it's going to be PO box.
Because we want mail. Yeah.
Number at gmail.com. I will get you the number next week or something like that. We will only accept handwritten letters. They will have to be scans of your handwritten letter. If you don't handwrite the letter and scan it to us, we will not read it. We will not consider it. But we're gonna throw out there the 1++ theory in baseball and see what dog licks it up to see if anybody's buying this. Because I'm pretty sure the majority of people out there are going, the Atlanta Braves of the 1990s are not.
The Atlanta Braves are a dynasty. They meet my 1++ rule.
You're going to get a lot of people who are going to go, simply because of the cheating scandal, the Houston Astros don't qualify because it was such a black mark.
1++. And one of the pluses on their list, cheaters.
I just, what is the line between you're just a great team and you're a dynasty in baseball? Because, and I guess that's what this whole podcast is.
Isn't that what we're talking about?
I haven't been paying attention. You just,
I noticed, which is why we gotta get out of this show. We're gonna come back to whatever question you want to ask. We'll put that on the list for next week.
The induction.
We gotta.
Go ahead. Whatever.
I was going to say, we got to transition to that stat and get out of this dumpster fire going over a cliff that we call this podcast. Let's go to our segment, That Stat. It's where I ask Adam if he knows what that stat is and then who the top 5 performers in this category are. Adam, this week's That Stat is, and it is going to be for pitchers. I believe we might have had a little discussion around the statistic for hitters a few weeks back, but this week it is regarding pitchers. Do you know what barrel percentage is?
This is a pitching?
Pitchers?
Wait, pitching stack. Okay, pitching stat. Yeah. Barrel percentage.
On StatCast, if you're looking at, there's a column there that pitchers have as a barrel percentage. Just to give you a little hint, you want a low one.
Yeah,
so what is barrel percentage for pitchers?
The number of pitches or the percentage of pitches that they throw that get barreled up by the hitter.
Yeah. So, and barrel is going to be a statistic that kind of measures exit velocity. It has to be equal to or over 98 miles an hour. And then there's a launch angle element to that as well. But it's really, is the hitter smashing the ball really, really hard against these pitchers? And so, again, you want a really, really low number. League average is around 7 to 8%, somewhere in there, year over year. Can you name me a couple of the top 5 performers and maybe tell me what their barrel percentage might be, knowing that league average is around 7.5?
Wait, so I'm naming the guys who have the lowest percentage.
There you go. So who is the top performers? And again, for pitchers, you want a lower barrel percentage. They ain't touching it.
Can I give you the guys
barreling up the ball and smashing your pitches?
Can I give you the guys that have a high percentage over like the last 4 weeks? Shota Imanaga and Jameson Taillon.
Okay, I was just gonna say I'll give you a guess at who has the highest amongst qualified pitchers, and you nailed it. Jameson Taillon has the highest barrel percentage of any pitcher in the league amongst qualified pitchers.
Man, it's really sometimes it's hard to watch.
I like JMO. I want him to do well. And we also need him. He can't be on the IL right now because we don't have any arms left. But yeah, he's throwing batting practice out there.
Lowest barrel percentage.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just Christopher Sanchez. I'm going to throw.
Come on, this guy makes the list. No, number 1 makes the list like for every single category I've given you. Go.
He's strikeout guy. Luzardo.
No. Who's been like number one in like
Miz.
every category?
The
This guy
Miz.
is just, he
The
is a
Miz.
metric guru's uh,
Yeah, Mizorowski.
dream.
Mizorowski.
There we go.
Okay. Had to say it 4 times.
All right. Can you name anybody else on the list?
Shohei Ohtani.
No.
How is he? He's got a .74 ERA. Does he qualify?
I don't know. And I'm not going to hop on StatCast right now, but I can get back. We'll put a pin in that one. We'll get our researcher on that.
All right. What? I got no other teams. Well, give me teams. Maybe I can guess from teams. Is it?
I mean,
does
come
it
on. There's another guy on
does
here
it
you should be able to
correspond?
get.
Does it correspond with your strikeout list?
I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good guess. You're going to have good pitchers on this list.
Spencer Strider.
Good pitchers don't give up softballs. That guy's just mash.
Jacob deGrom.
No. Good guess.
Spencer Strider.
No.
Dylan Cease.
No. Paul Skeens, though, is on the list at number 4.
Man.
He was your easy one. Number 5, I'll give you a team for number 5. Seattle.
The guy who used to be on the Reds, Cueto.
No. George
Cueto.
Kirby.
Who?
Wow. You're pulling a me right now. I think it's my bit to get everybody's name wrong. You cannot steal my thing.
Wait.
George Kirby is
his
5.
name.
Number 3.
Hold on.
Bryce
Hold on.
Elder.
Wait a
Somewhat
second.
surprisingly.
Hold on. Johnny
Yeah.
Cueto is his name, is it not?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did I get it wrong? How did I get his name wrong? How am I stealing your bit? You stole my bit. You
What?
didn't let me have my break in the middle of a thought. All right, let's. I'll see you in the ring, brother.
Yeah, I totally. Yeah, I dive bombed that one. All right. Bryce Elder's number 3, and you're never going to get number 2, although the Cubs just faced him, I believe, Landon Rupp for San Francisco.
I would
have never got that one in a million
years.
I would not. Yeah. So, but there's your top 5 for that stat, which is barrel rate, barrel percentage for pitchers. You don't want a high one. By the way, the Miz, which do people call him that? I like it's a little bit like a play on the Wiz, but I like the Miz. The Miz has a minuscule 2.6%. Nobody's touching this guy.
I don't think they can call him the Miz because isn't there a wrestler named the Miz? Isn't that taken?
We're gonna have to look that one up too. There's many things we got to put a pin in and explode for later.
The Miz was in an episode of Psych. He was in the Sean and the Real Girl, where Sean goes on the dating show. He's the one who goes crazy.
Get out of here, really?
That's
I remember. Yeah.
That's the Miz. All right. Well,
and congratulations. We fit in 2 West Wing references and now 2 Psych references as well.
I believe there were 3 West Wing references. There was Richard Schiff, President Bartlett, and a John Hoynes reference. So keep track. Who's the one not paying attention on this podcast?
Me. Not at all.
We're
probably going to talk about the exact same thing next week too. Last week and next week. It's all the same, people. You can weigh one of these shows on YouTube. They're all going to be the same.
Don't tell them that. Oh, nobody's making it to this part of the podcast anyway. We need to get out of here because
we are 8 hours into this thing. My computer's going to die. We need to stop.
Well, I've been distracted because there's some drama going on one of my projects. So, 2 real quick things. One, the Bears voted and the board of directors voted to approve the exploration of Hammond, Indiana, which I said a couple weeks ago would be a fiasco. Any thoughts on the Bears and that next step?
The Bears are going to bear. I think we've already established it'd be a bad move. As familiar as we are with Hammond, Indiana, right down the street from Grandma's, not the best place to build a stadium. It hurts me a little bit to say, but yeah, they probably got to move out to Arlington. There you go.
Okay. And
Arlington Heights.
Number 2,
being precise.
The Detroit Tigers are
bad,
worse than the Cubs,
real bad.
And
I believe everybody in the pick'em, everybody as in you, me, and Joey had him in the World Series.
We should probably call Joey to see if he'd come on this podcast to talk.
Joey's definitely coming on the podcast.
Well, he also
he's our Tigers correspondent.
he would probably skip class. He also
Yes,
is a
he would.
teacher.
Oh, he's done right now. He's done. So Joey, friend Joey's a teacher. Joey's going to be our Tigers beat writer, give us all things Tigers. And
He probably
we're going to
doesn't
bring
even
him on
know.
sometime soon. And he's going to tell us about the absolute dumpster fire that is the Detroit Tigers right now.
He probably doesn't know this podcast exists, but maybe I'll text him today and just be like, "Hey, we might need you to come on in a couple weeks."
Yeah.
But it seems inevitable that they will trade Tarek Skubal.
That is the rumors being brooded about at this moment in time. Yes.
Now, because Jed Hoyer is Jed Hoyer, I'll see you in the ring, brother. He will not trade for
No.
Tarek Skubal.
Cubs are not part of this conversation. You know who's part of this conversation? The Dodgers.
Okay, I was gonna say,
That's
like,
it.
is it just he's going to the Dodgers and that's what's gonna happen, and we all can go and cry?
100%.
Okay, that's the list.
Which is just stupid. Do the Dodgers need this guy? No.
Well, you should hear. You should hear the.
out here, man?
You should hear
What
the
are we
Dodger
doing
community
out here?
You should hear the Dodger community out here of just every post is like,
We can't win unless we have Skubal.
no, it's look at how many injured players we have. We have more injured. We have more days on the injured list than any other team by 1,000. And it's like, and I just want to put. I'm in the mood of just making everybody angry today and making enemies.
Yeah, this podcast is never going to air. But go ahead. Yeah.
Dodgers
Fire
organization.
away. You got to cut this one too. There's a few things you're going to have to.
I'm not
clean
cutting
up
it. I'm not cutting it. No one's making.
You're going to
it
want to
this
cut that
late in
one.
the podcast. No
Yeah,
one.
yeah. No, well, I know nobody's getting here, but again, 10 years down the road, 10 years down the line,
10
people
years
are going
down
to be
the
looking
line,
back
if
and be
we're
like,
still
okay, we're going to cancel them because
if we're getting in trouble for this, then we are in big.
Yes, we're never going to make it.
Yeah,
No.
then we're nowhere, as Sam Seaborn would say. Another West Wing
We are
reference.
absolutely
Boom.
nowhere.
You have wasted another perfectly good hour and a half, because all of these tend to be hour and a half listening.
Yeah,
to
we
this
really got to
podcast.
talk less. Yeah.
It is your fault for listening.
These poor people.
Grandma's got nothing better to do, right, Grandma? You're fine.
She's got to watch a lot of Cubs and a lot of golf.
She watches golf. Thank you for listening. If you have listened this far, our executive producers are Eddie, the head of the Jackson Dart Social and Pleasure Club, Alizade. Our other executive producer is Christian, Too Short Shorts, quack, 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 quack. Okay, Gordon Bombay, Alizade.
Another Emilio reference.
Love Emilio. Our producer is Philip Airtime. Our researchers are Dustin Shelves and Anita Lotmore. I've got our credits here. Like I mentioned, we have a couple of new hires.
New hires.
Pay attention.
Who
I'll get to the
we
new hires.
bringing onto the team here?
I'll get to the new hires when I get to the new hires. Our staff therapist is Amanda Hugginkiss. Our Russian prostate examiner is Ivana Tinkle. Our head of romantic movie division is Hey, Would You Cuddle Me? Our male relationship consultant is Turner Luce. Our director of grade disputes is Viola Fuss. Our dermatologist for teenagers is Don Pickett. Welcome back, Don, from last week hiatus. This is crazy. This is our first new hire. Our quality control officer upped and left us.
We haven't had a quality control officer?
We had a quality control officer. Upton left us. Up and left us. He quit the show.
Come on, Upton.
He quit the show, and so I had to hire a new one, and her name is Lois Barr. So welcome, Lois, to the show. Our show
for sure.
Our show fundraiser is Fat Chance, and Fat is PHAT. Our French dog walker is Poupon de Grasse, and our last hire, our head of our intern training division, is Look Busy. Thank you, Bart. Thank you, Click and Clack. Thank you, Teddy Roosevelt, for the inspiration.
Always.
All to those who listen. We will be back next week. Maybe.
Yeah.
Have a good week.